A warm welcome to each one of you. This is a Naomi Talk Show with yours truly, Liz Kenywa, and kama kawaida, I like to appreciate each one of you that has chosen to become part of the big family that we are becoming. You've made us grow, you've made us shine, all thanks to you for choosing to grow us. Asante sana. And to everyone coming across our content for the very first time, please remember, we have three things that we aspire to do. In every video, in every recording that we do, you will get inspired, you'll be equipped, and you'll be educated to do life the right way, the way God intended for us to do. Because He has the manual of how we ought to do life. But we keep on referring to the manual. There are times we want to work on our own, figure out things for ourselves, and sometimes it doesn't end very well. In fact, many times it does not end very well. That's why we endeavor to bring you these stories so that you can learn and be equipped, and life becomes a little bit easier for you as you journey. So at this moment, schools are closed. It's a season of shopping, transfer, looking to relocate to other places, probably a job transfer came through and you need to get a space for your children, or for a mother who is excited and it's their first time their child will be joining kindergarten. Allow me to say welcome to the school life. We've been there and we want to share something with you that you need to look out for when you're shopping for a school or you're hunting for a school for your child in two levels. At the kindergarten level, and even looking to transfer those that have gone through the system, or your child graduated and you feel you need to expose them to something bigger or to a challenging environment, depending on the many things that you'll be hearing from a lady who you need to sit back and have a notebook because she has a lot to share. Of course, si mzazi ndiwenda kufanya hunting, so tulitafuta mzazi who's been there, had an opportunity to transfer their child or their children, and they'll be sharing with us what exactly to look out for when you're hunting for a school for your child. Because guess what? The school you get for your child can make or break their success journey academically. So you just don't choose what is trending. You just don't go for what everybody's talking about or what your friends feel is the in thing. There are things that you need to look out for. And more so, we of the household of faith. So sit back, relax, and get ready to learn. Let me allow our guest to introduce herself. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Kindly introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Yes.
My name is Margaret, or Mrs. David Kamande. I'm a mother of three. One who is, our firstborn is doing KIPSEA next week on Monday. So we are happy parents.
Congratulations.
Yes. Our next one, a girl, she's in grade 4, and the other one is in grade 1. So we've been blessed with 3. And we've been doing the journey of motherhood to schooling, and all along we are this far. I'm really grateful for having me today.
Asante sana.
Yes.
Turudi hapo kwa motherhood. Before we went on set, there's something important you mentioned, that you had to make a radical, let me call it a radical decision.
Yes. Yes.
Very radical, that is not very popular.
No, yes.
Please let us know about that radical decision.
I have worked in the corporate world for the last 14 years or so in a major global company, and was on major big positions, actually the head of an East Africa side. And one day, so I would travel so much.
What everybody wants. Okay,
Yes,
not everybody, many
we
people.
travel so much. The paycheck was as fat as they come. And I was a woman climbing up the ladder of the career. And it was really nice, really, really nice. And the execution in the marketplace was great. And every Monday I would leave the morning and leave my kids with my nanny. My husband as well is at work, and would come back every Friday or Saturday, as tired as it is. And first, if you travel too much, you find when you've come back, you are so tired, you wouldn't even tend to those kids. You tend to sleep. You don't even attend church as much. So really, your values are basically too much on the work not really too much on the family life. And one day I came home and my kids were not actually relating to me as they were relating to the house girl. If they need anything, if they are talking about the special things they have in their lives or what happened in school, they would actually run to the girl. And for me, that triggered something in me that I had never felt. And I felt like I'm really going to lose this part of motherhood. And that's when I had to make a decision. One night, we sat with my husband, and at the midnight, I wrote my resignation letter. And I said, I'm not actually being poached by other companies. I'm really leaving this for my family. It's a total break that I want to take to be part of their lives, understand their lives, understand how they are growing up, like understand what they matter to them. Because kids grow and all of a sudden, after 12 years, they are gone.
Really?
And there's so much world out there from your house, be the nannies that we are employing, to the outside world, the 7 days or the 6 days they are in school, and you have them for very few hours. If you don't tap into that as a parent, as a mother, you lose on them because you cannot relate to them when they are teenagers if you did not build that from the beginning. And so I had to make that decision to leave it, to be a mother, full time.
Congratulations,
That's
first
what
and foremost. It's a tough decision you made. I salute you.
Thank you.
Completely.
Thank you.
And I'm sure, well, this is about choosing schools, but
Yes,
it is important
it is. It is. It is. It is.
to hear about some
Yeah.
of these things.
Yeah.
And how has that journey been like?
The journey of living or the journey of
The journey of
schools?
now staying with your children
The
and
journey
having
of
the
staying
time with
with
them.
my children. First, I have a special child who is has some limiting conditions, but to see him thrive and to walk with him through the journey from hospitals to noticing schools and being present to every meeting, every day in school, dropping that child to school, having a conversation constant when something happens, and to hear it from the child real time, it makes very much difference. So for me, it has really been a very empowering moments for me in the last 3 years now. And I cannot take it back. I can't even regret it because I've seen it help also my kids to be closer to me and value the time we spend together. Before I would imagine school closing, ship them out.
Thank you.
Right now, school closing,
You're looking forward.
the grandmas are constantly calling. So are they coming? I say, I have this program, I have this program, I have, because I want to be present and I want to be there before the years are gone. And it's really, really important, Liz, for every mother to choose that, for every parent to choose that. Not everyone can leave their work. We had to work around it, me and my husband, to see how to support our system for that to happen. And because we defined how that was to happen and how we are going to have that support in terms of the money, because there's also other needs. So not everybody can leave work. So if you make that decision, then also have clear, stipulated directives in your own family. If one person, yes, has left because you want to do this full time, then how is it happening? Because you don't leave and then you start borrowing. No, it can't work like that. So everybody has their journey, but mine has really been very great for the last 3 years. I'm one happy mother.
I'm loving this conversation. I am loving it. I'm loving it because there are so many places and areas where we have so many things in common, but hiyo mtajua off camera, sio kwa camera. So as you can hear, our guests is loaded with knowledge and info na sio nini, you know, usiseme alifutwa kazi, amekwambia yeye mwenyewe ndiye aliamua. It's a job of my children. Do the opportunity costs, go for what you feel works for you. And again, one size does not fit all, as she has said. So you do your costs.
Yes.
Completely. Alafu uegeme ile upande unasikia uzito iko kwa wingi. So here you are, you have a child who enrolled in kindergarten, tuanze na yule sasa kwa grade 6 because that was the fresh start
Yes,
where
yes,
most of
yes,
our
yes.
audience will begin from.
Yes.
In January they'll be excited, but right now they're shopping around and all that stuff. What are some of the things that you are on the lookout for, especially for that beginner?
When we started, first we were in apartments, like as you start life. And first was to go around scouting. We already knew, and especially for him, he was sharper than usual. He, at his age, with his special need, he refused to speak any Swahili or any mother tongue. And we couldn't understand why he can't get our tongue. But he could get, so what the doctors advised us, let him listen to TV, let's listen, because we didn't have other kids. And so what he got was like cocomelon, that English. And to date has stuck to his tongue. So we were looking for a school, number one, that will understand who our son is. Because we also were in a path of understanding, and this is our first son, understanding who he is and help us dissect that. And number two, immediately from that early age, I wanted to walk to a school and feel like the school is clean. The school is clean, articulate, the class is neat, and my to-go place to always visit when I go to enroll my child to school is normally the bathrooms.
That makes the two of us. Tunaendanga washroom kabla tuangalie hata.
I want to see, are they clean? Are they smelly? Are they maintained? Is there someone who is coming quite often?
Yeah.
Because we know kids are kids. They will come and they will spill all over. So is there someone who's still coming in and checking on that? And thank goodness we got that school that catered to the school, even not to put the toilets as high, they put those little toilets. And they would put a towel outside the sink for every child. So every child had a towel that was labeled that school. So for me, cleanliness when it comes to that age is very, very important when you walk to any school. The next thing, my interest was normally to check on the food. What are they serving these children when they come to school? Is it sugarly diet? Is it, because every child has their own different ways and digestion issues. And the minute you understand what the school then feeds, then you understand the different way to react to your children. And if a school is open to show you this is what will feed and have that discussion, then it makes you comfortable as a parent. So for me, I was keen to understand, what are you guys serving them? At what intervals are you serving them? Belopeleke mtoto shule, and then you find they are just not being given as much as you're giving in the house. So maybe that child gets hungry. And for me, those are two major key things, even before we start on the curriculum, that you are understanding this child is coming from the house and they are going to another environment that is also friendly to the child. You also check on their grounds. Are they children friendly? Are they games for that age, or it's only games for the bigger classes only? Because if it is learn and no play, then makes Jack a dull boy. So, and at this age, very early age, young children learn through observation, learn through play, learn through interaction, learn through running around with each other. It's a stage of development. So there's a lot of that is happening. So you want to see an environment that also is incorporating that for these children. So mainly for me, I look at those before even we touch on any curriculums as we go along.
Before we even ask for the flyer, okay, give me the flyer. I first check the washrooms. I want to know how your menu is like, what you're feeding the children with. Is it a safe space for this child? And I like the fact that tunaangalia kwanza place anaweza chezea before we even go to the class. Because at that level, we are not looking to push the child for their degrees, do the academic performance. They're still developing.
They are still development. They have come from a very calm environment from the house. You want them to proceed to another environment that is also as welcoming as the home was. So that transition doesn't become a shock to them as well. So that sometimes when the child is going to school at the beginning, they tend to cling on the mother or the parent that is taking to them, and crying, screaming, and all those things. So this environment that is closer to resemblance of the environment at home helps so much to calm this child to settle in the new space. Yeah.
Wow. So where would you place the place of, I think we've always had this challenge of children getting into school transport as early, that age, as early as 5:45 in the morning. This is probably a 3 to 4 year old child.
I think for me that comes when you are scouting for the school. Any school that is miles away from where you live, and especially for that age, personally, as a mother, is a no-no. Because the transit hours in between makes that child get very tired. I remember when we used to live, as I was telling you, in some apartments in one place before we moved to our current residence. When we moved, because of the love for the school and what the school was about, and even the passion that the stakeholders, the owners of the school had, which actually is another thing that we actually look out for. Because of that love for the school, and when we moved to this environment, we couldn't find any other school that could fit to what we were looking for. We got a private driver. And remember, I was in the career, as I was telling you earlier. And the driver would come in the morning at 7 o'clock, very okay hours. Pick the kids, go several kilometers away, several towns away from where we lived. Towns away from where we lived, to take the children to school. That time it was 2 of them. And then come back. At first it was okay. As we kept going down the year, it became so tiring for them, even if they're in the private vehicle. Our daughter started, by the transit from school to home, she would come all messed up. She's sued on herself, she's slept, she's so tired. She doesn't even want to wake up the following day. And that is, and we kept praying to God, please, because for me as well, school is a prayer space.
Thank you.
And we kept praying to God, please give us another. It's not like there are no other schools where we are, but there's no school that really you have planted in us that we feel we are drawn towards. And we really have visited, but we don't see schools fit to what we are looking for when it comes to growth of these children. And by sheer miracle of God, the owners of that school came to our side and bought a school that was getting closed and opened the school. And I remember we met with the owners in one of our functions, and I even teared up when they told me we are opening for the school, because I remember it's a prayer I was standing before God to pray for it. And when we got the new space, we now transferred kids, now would go to school less than 5 minutes to school. And it was okay. So the idea of, again, children leaving your house wee hours of the morning and coming wee hours of the night, even appropriately to that child for their growth, for their rest, it's really not advisable.
It's not advisable.
Yeah.
Umesikia, up to this far hatujataja bei. Because there are other things to look out for as you're scouting for a school for your child.
Yes.
I know definitely kuna mahali bei itafika.
Oh, yes.
But first things first, because you can go for what matches your fat payslip or your income, and then you lose everything else. So we've talked about the cleanliness of the school, the food, the ground should be user-friendly. And remember, we are talking about the kindergarten, and then proximity to home.
To home.
And also make it a prayer item. So far, so good. I'm sure you have something else to add to this before we move to those that have already gone through the foundation and they're looking to transfer.
Yeah. So definitely, as well on the kindergarten, as you're looking for a school, look to understand who are the stakeholders. What are they about? What have they made the school's culture to be about? Because it starts from the owners, then it drops as a seed to the school that is carried by the teachers who come in. So understand who are the stakeholders. Are they just business people, or do they have actually innate in them to welcome the children, to nurture these young beings who are being brought to their care? Because more or less, Liz, we have seen so many people opening schools for business matters.
Exactly.
And they've grown.
And it's a good business, by the way.
And it is a good business. And they have grown. But at the end of the day, you want to nurture what comes into this young mind. Because what you put in the young minds is what they grow with. So if they are not of the right mindset, and especially of us, as you started saying, who are of the household of faith, you want to feel your child is in a space where, as well, Jesus is the core of the conversations.
Thank you.
Is Christ the core of what leads that school? Because what you're about is what you will spread to these children that are here. If there's no conversations of Jesus and Christ, then for me, as a parent, again, is a no-no.
Tuko pamoja? Up to this far? You actually don't to keep doing your devotionals at home and someone is undoing them. And then you have to do damage control again. And then you have to, it's not worth it. So keep checking, understand the values.
Understand the values
of the founders.
Of these
schools.
Yes. And then when it gets to now you've gotten the school, you've settled in the school, understand who are these teachers. Are they trained? Some schools, you'll be surprised to know sometimes they will just pick their sisters. And they come, they put sini kuangalia watoto. And especially our kindergarten. There's so much value you put into them. Because personally myself, what I looked out for is when you have enrolled this child, they have started speaking, are they speaking the correct thing?
Yes.
And especially
pronunciation also.
Yes. What system is this school using? Is it you remember us when we learned, we were singing A for apple, B for that old, but the version nowadays, you understand, a child to learn their syllables well, they have to sound it, the phonics.
And we struggle, some of us.
And some of us, we understood C as C, and we didn't understand why it was cup. And it is C, it is supposed to be soup, not cup. So this child at that age gets into a classroom, has to be with a teacher that is trained to teach this sound. It is not just C, it is K on the sound, so that when you come to spell on the wording, it is K up. So that sounding, when that child learns it there, and then learns through sensory items. We talked about children learn at this age through touching, through engaging. So if they learn through the environment of the things that have been placed in that class, it means this child will touch that C at some point to understand how it is written. So forever they'll be taught how this C is written, how it is sounded. It is not S, it is K. They will understand it for all their lives. So even as they transitions to other school, they have already been planted a seed of correctness at the beginning. So another teacher will not need to come and correct it because they've even been trained on the formation of it. So by the time they transition to the upper classes or other schools, this child understands how to sound it, understands how to write it, understands how to clearly, it goes below or up. So as a new parent, I was looking for, has this child met a correct teacher who is trained? Are they teaching the correct, with the correct system or curriculum? What is the system the school endorses to teach the children? So then because if the children have been taught right, their transitions become very easy to the other schools.
So far, mmesikia tujataja bei, lakini tunaenda ukataja bei as a factor. Number 2, we have not mentioned anything about the academic performance and ranking of the school. Because kindergarten, for crying out loud,
it is not about the rank.
That one is not. If they present that to you when you go hunting for a school, run. Especially at the kindergarten level, run. Well, sijataja shule, sijataja mtu, ni experience tu inatuelekeza. So we need to wind up on this, then we move to the other.
On the
because
last
our
one
time
for
is
me on the
moving.
kindergarten, as you enroll, we've talked about distance, but my last one would be understand the cost.
Yeah.
Understand the cost in not just can I afford it now, is it sustainable?
Exactly.
Can I sustain, if I start at 100,000 now, can I sustain it all the years that this child is going to be here between the 3 ages that they are supposed to be in the lower grades? Am I able to sustain? Otherwise, they are going to be in this school this term, next time they're in another one, like that. And you really do not want that for, especially a growing child that age. You want them to be in a stable environment, an environment that they are going to grow for a particular span of time before you start thinking about transitioning now to the primary schools. Yes.
So cost is the last thing that we would want to factor and be at the place, as she says, where you're comfortable, you're looking at it long term, you don't want to keep hoping or making your child hope from one school to another. And this is not that, zile school za kitambo, you could, unacha fee balance hapo, unaenda mahali ingine, kuna kitu inaitwa NEMIS. Your NEMIS number. You will think of transferring your child, watch a balance kule, you will still come back. So I beg, count your costs. If it suits you, if it fits you, then you're good to go.
Yes.
Now, we are looking at this child who has graduated from kindergarten, and graduations are big things these days.
Oh, yes. With gowns and all. And parties.
They come at a cost
yes.
to the parent.
Yes.
But anyway, new seasons, new things,
new
and
times.
all that.
Yes.
And now this child has graduated, and probably the space they were in does not provide for the grade 1 kusonga mbele. So then again, I'm sure here the parent will be looking for something different. What are some of the things that are not probably in this one that a parent will be looking for to transfer or to have their child enroll in January?
Okay. So for me, I would look at that transfers in different ways.
Yeah.
There's transfer of that transitioning from Ishule imefika up to this level, kindergarten. So they have to go to another primary school.
Yeah.
There's also transfers of, I have been here.
Yes.
And it's not working, I need to move somewhere else. So for this one, for transferring from this level to another primary school, number one, the same things more or less that you looked when you are looking at the kindergarten, is you look at them, especially some of them, in terms of the cleanliness, what is the ratio of teachers to kids, you look at the dietary, they are important key factors to growing children. You look at the values of the stakeholders as well. It's very important. Those same values that you looked at, you look at them as well as you're transitioning to this new school. And especially as well, this child, you're introducing them from kindergarten to primary school, you're introducing them to the world of homeworks. So the distance again of where you live to the school needs to be as minimum as possible to allow that child to be home in time, do their homework in time, and rest as well for the day. So the same things more or less that you looked at kindergarten level. Kindergarten, we were not so much oriented on the academic. Now, when we come to the primary section, you want to look at the academics.
Exactly.
The new school you're taking this child to, what is it known for?
And especially these days, I think schools have different, not curriculums, but programs to woo a parent and even the child.
Yes. What is this school known for? How is the academic performance in the years? Who are the owners? Again, it goes back to the whole thing. We have children who are transitioning even in high schools. what is this new space you're taking your child known for? We have schools where we hear drugs is the order of the day. Have you searched enough to understand what is that school known for? Because then it helps you understand that transition even as you seek the school. For me, from kindergarten to the primary, look out for the things, especially that we touched on when we were looking for the kindergarten. From primary to primary, number one, this child has grown. They can understand their intellect a bit. They understand challenges and issues. So when you come to transfer, and especially for me on the bigger kids, which is something I did this year, let the children be part of the transition.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before you even say, oh, I'm transferring you, I'm taking you to, are they in? Have you had that conversation with them? Have you listened to hear what challenges they have talked about? So that even as you're looking out for the new space, they are part and parcel of helping you to scout and say, you know what, mom and dad, I don't think that is. I think this is a space. So that it's a whole, because remember at the end of the day, when you come, you've looked for that space, you've scouted, and it aligns to you as a parent, to pocket, to space, to all those things. This is a child who is going to live through in that school.
Thank you.
Is a child who is going to live in that environment. So the earlier you make them part of it, the earlier it becomes easier for them to actually embrace the move. Because moves to them is as well emotional and social as much as it is academic. Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
So make the children part and parcel of understanding why the transfer, why the move. Let them be part of it.
Yeah, because they can actually help you. They can even see more than what you can see.
Yeah.
And they'll spend most of their time there. So make it as comfortable for them as possible. It just reminded me, I think in my days I was transferred and I didn't know where I was going. So I woke up in the morning, it's January, and you're going to a new school. Where? We'll show you. You just get ready.
Just get ready.
Man.
And you see, those were our days.
I was traumatized.
Yes. And the kids today, by the way, you will take them by force, but with the kids today, this generation, it doesn't work like that.
You went to a location where they were using a generator.
Yes.
There was no power.
Oh my.
My previous school, there was power.
Oh goodness.
The washroom, the configurations was very different. You
And
can't
shock on you.
Shock on. What?
Yes.
And talk about the teacher ratio.
Teacher ratio is also very important.
The teacher and the pupil ratio
Yes.
is also, I think it's also a factor to
It's
consider.
also a factor, a major factor to consider when you're moving to primary school. Statistics have shown you the fewer numbers of students to a teacher is better than larger numbers. Now, you will find schools which have very huge numbers,
Yes.
which is very good. But how have they ratioed these children to the teachers? Why? The fewer the number of students to a particular teacher makes it a personalized relationship. So the teacher can comfortably talk about who is Liz in this class.
Yes.
What are their attributes? What is their discipline like? How is their performance across the subjects? You know, all of those things. And especially in this day and age where from upper primary, grade 4, actually even some of it, even in grade 1 now, where different teachers teach different subjects.
Yes.
But the main class teacher, because that is a class teacher you will meet for the open day to discuss your performance, does that teacher understand your child completely across all these subjects? Or you still have to go look for all those teachers? And that is why the fewer students to a teacher comes in handy, because it helps them know what is the gap with this child, which help do we need to put where, what conversation do I need to have with a parent at the middle of the term, not at the end of the term. I keep telling my teachers, I'm quite involved with all my teachers of my kids. Very early in the term, I tell them, don't wait for me at the end of the term open day, where you call us to tell us about the performance of the child. Tell me all along, then I will understand it's a journey because it is me, you, the teacher, and this child. If you do not understand it along, I will not come for the open day. Because then you're coming to read for me. I can read for myself. Because the teacher has to be articulate enough to really understand this child's performance of number work in January was like this. When we close the term was like this. Which gaps? What do we need to do? And that is where the numbers, the ratios come in. You have huge numbers to schools which want to constrain on the teachers, then it becomes very difficult, even in terms of performance for some of those students. Yeah.
And I like the fact that you're saying the teacher is able to zero down on the needs of the child.
Yes.
And bearing in mind, I think once they get into the primary levels is where bullying begins also.
Oh, yes.
And so the teacher will be in touch to know something is not right and dig deep.
Yes.
Because Hannah 50 books to check, 50 diaries to sign. She's all alone or he's all alone in the class. I think that's something important for every parent to realize. Don't just go for, and I want to emphasize this as she has said, there's nowhere she has said until we took our children where everybody else was going. It's not about what is trending.
No, it is not.
What everybody in your neighborhood is doing. It is what is comfortable for you as the parent. And at this point, allow me to ask, where the two parents are, a father and a mother, whose responsibility is it to go scouting for a school for your child?
For me, both parents are responsible to scout for the school of the child. Because I may see some things, he may see some things. You realize even as husband and wife, you're very different. As much as you are one, according to the scripture, you still will view things sometimes when we come to environment, and especially our children's environment, very differently. Exactly. I am keen to toilet, he's keen to understand who is this principal. He'll actually have a whole conversation of politics with a principal just to touch on their core and to get what their ideologies are. I may not have that. He will have that. And so by the time we are leaving that staff room, we have very different understanding of these people than how we went in. So for me, scouting for a school is both parents because you both will touch and get things differently from that environment that you're going to.
So we want to say where both parents are involved, it's not the mother's responsibility. Alafu kikiumana unakuja unauliza mama.
It's not the mother and the father paying school fees. It is the both.
Unakuja unauliza mama. So what is it that you're looking for when you are going to shop for this school? Let the two of you be involved. And we want to underline. We know there are spaces where the two are not there. We totally appreciate. But where there is a mother and a father, please get involved. These are your children, not the mother's children or the father's children only. Because then again, we see this translated when schools have meetings and you find 90.9.
It's mothers.
99.9. It's mothers that have to attend. It's because I think the journey began on the wrong footing, where the mother went scouting for a school, and so the father takes a back seat. Si nimelipa fees. Nini ngine mnataka? Fees nimeshalipa. Mikutano, mama yenu anakuja. We want to advocate and say, as loudly as we can get, let both parents be involved. That sports day, be involved. You know, shout if you have to shout, scream and yell. It's those memories that count, especially when it comes to a child's life doing school. Thank you so much. We are learning. As we get to wind up, what would you say to a parent who is, like, your word of wisdom, having been there, your parting shot for that parent?
Having been there, having done the transfers, having taken children to kindergarten, number one, your source of hope and your source of trust, your source of understanding and knowledge is God. He guides through everything. Once you make that a backbone, and then you make communication the core of every day with your children, with your spouse, with the school, with the teachers, then the understanding of the whole 360 degree of this schooling becomes very easy, because there will be no at one particular point when you do not understand. Do not take your child to school and settle. It is done. I have paid school fees. I have bought.
Repeat. Look at that camera and repeat that point.
Do not take your child to any school and think it is done.
Yeah.
The minute you've dropped them and you've bought the school fees, you've paid the school fees, you've bought the uniforms and you've bought the books, and now you've handed them over, you think you are done. No, it is a collaboration of a parent, a teacher, and that student. If it is going to work and God being the core of it, then you're going to win. If you are left out, then you will reach your child on the other side of life. When they are so gone, you will not be able to return them. However, how young they are or how old they are, you mold them when they are young and you walk with them when they are young, because they watch through what you do or what you say. And if you say ABCD to a teacher, then walk the ABCD, then ask them the ABCD. Then it becomes affirmation that this is the value that we stand for, then go do it. So the execution becomes very easy. So don't just hand over.
I'm loving the wisdom, but then time is not allowing us to continue. But I truly hope to the young parents who are looking to begin this journey, you've learned something. I know some of you may requested for this, and for sure we have done our best to get you exactly the insights you need as you go to begin the journey. And I'm loving the fact that she has said, I call her Mama, let me call her Mama Kila. She has said, please be involved.
Yes.
Getting a school is one thing. Now, going the journey step by step with your child, with your teachers, is a different game altogether. So it doesn't stop. Amedropwa na bus. Anarudi na bus. Get involved. Get to know how their day was. And sometimes when they are coming home in the evening, ask the Holy Spirit to reveal to you what they are not saying that they may have encountered in those schools. I hope you're learning. Anyway, we have to end this one here, and we totally appreciate you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Definitely, you're helping a young mother somewhere, a young couple somewhere that is walking through this journey, because that is what we are all about. Asante sana.
Thank you so much.
And we end it here, and we want to say, God bless you even as you make the choices of a school. Put God first. He will order your steps, as he says. The steps of a righteous man are ordered by God.
Yes.
In everything.
In everything.
Even in choosing a school for your child. God bless you. See you next time.